thank you, Emily, for being with us today. Emily is our governmental appointments project coordinator with South Carolina Women in Leadership. And she's going to talk today about finding a board that suits your skills and interests. We touched on this earlier in the session with AIT, and she's going to delve a little bit more into it. So Emily, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, so as Sarah said, my name is Emily Bowerman, and I'm the Governmental Appointment Project Coordinator for South Carolina Women in Leadership. And it's my pleasure this afternoon to speak to you about finding a board that suits your skills and interest. So this morning we learned about why boards and commissions matter, where you might serve, what responsibilities come with serving. And now we're going to talk about the how. How do you start to find the right board for you? There are 4 main areas to consider. You should talk about your qualifications, your objectives, your research, and the level at which you'd like to serve. So let's start with your qualifications. I'm sure this is what comes to mind for most of you first when you begin to think about a suitable position. And that's with very good reason. Your professional qualifications are important. They don't just demonstrate your expertise. Many boards and commissions require members to work in a certain field. Some positions may be for doctors, some for lawyers, some for small business owners, architects, pilots, and more. State and local governments may be looking for someone in your very occupation. Some positions are also tied to certain degrees. This is especially common for statewide legislature boards that oversee professions like social workers and nurses, where they may want some individuals with bachelor's degrees and some with graduate degrees. You'll also want to keep your professional organizations in mind. Especially at the statewide level, positions may be appointed based upon the recommendation of certain organizations, such as the Chamber of Commerce or the Association of Realtors. Additionally, your professional memberships showcase your dedication to a career area, demonstrate a knowledge of the subject matter, a familiarity with others in the field, and show your willingness to serve. However, don't just focus on your professional qualifications. You are more than just your resume, as we talked about this morning. You are a wealth of personal experience. While it's starting to get better, many women are still accustomed not to discussing their family or their personal life when they're applying for jobs because they don't want to be pigeonholed or perceived to have divided loyalties. That doesn't need to be the case with boards and commissions. Think about how valuable someone's experience as a caregiver for a differently abled family member would be to a disabilities and special needs board, or how firsthand experience with those struggling with addiction would be beneficial when serving on an alcohol and drug abuse board. Some boards even have positions just for parents, especially the statewide level. Your relationships and past experiences are assets, they're not hindrances. Your hobbies and interests are also relevant. Not everyone who serves on a local library board is going to have a degree in library science, just as not everyone on a bicycle and pedestrian advisory committee works in the transportation field. But do they have other experiences in this area? Certainly. Passion is important, and it can be shown with a clear, dedicated interest in the subject matter. Keep in mind that some boards have positions for lay people. There may be instances when decision makers are seeking not just those with professional expertise in an area, but those with an interest in the board's area of focus and an eagerness to serve. Similarly to professional organizations, your volunteer work is important. It can help paint a fuller picture of who you are. Maybe you're a corporate lawyer who volunteers at the fire department. Maybe you're a dentist who has volunteered at the local homeless shelter for 10 years. Or you could be a retiree who dedicates your time to keeping your community beautiful and cleaning up litter. There are boards in all of those areas. Just because you may not be compensated for your work doesn't keep it from adding to your qualifications. And your professional resume may not be able to capture the breadth of your life experiences. So be sure to provide this information in your application or cover letter and when you're networking and meeting with decision makers. As we touched on this morning, when it comes to looking for the right boards for you, you need to think about your objectives. And this all comes from asking yourself questions. What is it you hope to achieve by serving? Is there a specific problem you want to address? Is there an area you're passionate about? Is this a stepping stone helping you build experience towards another position you're interested in? However, bear in mind that serving on a board is about more than boosting your resume or even giving back to your community. It's a real commitment. You'll have to attend regular meetings, set aside hours every month for your board work, and possibly even travel. That can be a lot, especially if you're juggling a career, family, and other commitments. but that doesn't have to be a downside. Instead, think of it as an opportunity to help you narrow down what boards you're truly interested in. What do you care about so much that you're eager to dedicate your spare time to it? Applying for an appointed position, as like all good things in life, requires some research. The most obvious starting point is to look and see what positions are available. Keep in mind that even if you don't see any suitable positions currently open, there may be some coming up in the months ahead, and that'll allow you extra time to start preparing. Our website, scwomenlead.net, has databases available at the municipal, county, and statewide level for positions that are currently available and those that will come available in the next 6 months. As we'll discuss shortly, reviewing our website allows you the chance to look at boards at different levels without having to toggle between different websites. And at the end of this afternoon, you'll hear more about our new platform coming soon that'll make things even easier. So once you find a board that suits your interests and skills, you should start by reviewing the enabling legislation to ensure that you meet all the requirements for eligible appointees, such as having the pertinent career, degree, or even residency. Also, the legislation will give you a better idea of what the board's specific responsibilities are. If you're unable to find the legislation on the local government website, I recommend checking municicode.com, that's municode.com, and check out the South Carolina Secretary of State's website for enabling legislation of statewide boards and commissions. Next, consider attending a meeting or two of some of the boards you're interested in. This will allow you to see how the boards function, what they're currently focused on, what you can expect to see in meetings, and with whom you might be working. In the age of COVID, many meetings are now happening online or being broadcast live, which makes it even easier for you to attend. Meeting schedules can usually be found online, whether it be at the county, state, or municipal level. And of course, I also recommend networking. Begin by reaching out to those currently serving on the boards and commissions you're interested in. Introduce yourself, explain why you're interested in joining the board, and share your qualifications. They'll be able to share their firsthand experiences as to what it's like serving. They may also be able to put in a good word for you with those who appoint individuals to the board. Also, for some statewide boards, new members are actually appointed based upon the recommendation of their current members. Should you have any questions, whether it be when you're deciding where to apply, when you're completing your application, or even after you submit your application, don't hesitate to reach out to the clerk to council for county and municipal governments, or to the governor's office for statewide appointments. They'll be able to answer your questions, point you in the right direction, and share some of their wisdom. And of course, you can always reach out to us at Women in Leadership as well. Most local level appointments are made by council members. When you apply, reach out to your council member to introduce yourself, let them know that you applied, how eager you are to serve, and any goals you might have for serving. Some counties also may have a subcommittee of council members who review applicants. In that case, reach out to those committee members as well. Don't forget to think about those you know who may be able to advocate on your behalf. They could be subject matter experts, pillars of the community, colleagues, mentors, or elected and appointed officials. You may want to consider asking for letters of recommendation as well to bolster your application. When you begin your research, I recommend starting at our website at scwomenlead.net. We've recently made some changes, but for those of you who have reviewed appointed positions on our website before, you'll notice the navigation is fairly similar. You can begin by hovering over Fill the Pipeline and then navigate to Appointed Office. Local boards at the county municipal level are available as you can see here. Just click the name of your county or municipality. You can also navigate here by going to scwomenlead.net/matchboard. Next, once you're on the county or city page, you'll be able to see what positions are available or soon to be available. You can click the name of the Board of Commission for more information. You can see if the position has any requirements or descriptions and find a link to the application, as well as information about the main point of contact that we recommend for the boards and commissions, usually the clerk to council. To learn about statewide positions, you can also begin by going to the Fill the Pipeline area and then go to the state section, or you can go to scwomenlead.net/gap. You'll learn more about how statewide appointments work and be able to navigate to our database. Because there are so many statewide positions, you can search by keywords or filter by category. Each board will include any requirements tied to the available seat, the date the seat is available, the appointing authority, usually the governor, but not always, and also a link to the enabling legislation. So this brings us to our next topic. How do you decide at what level you should serve? There are boards and commissions at the municipal level, the county level, and the statewide level. While many first think about the statewide positions, there's a real need for qualified applicants at the local level and a true benefit to serving there as well. For example, you'll be able to see the impact of your immediate community. You'll be able to see the changes around you that you're affecting and how it impacts your friends and neighbors. Also, sometimes your passionate causes may be best suited for local level boards. For example, if you're interested in police, community relations, preserving historic districts, or public transportation, you should consider applying to positions at the municipal or county levels, as boards in these areas are more plentiful at the local level than statewide. Since you'll be serving close to home, you won't have to worry about driving across the state for meetings. That'll save you time and from having to worry about per diems. Serving locally is a big advantage for parents of young children and those with demanding careers. If you're concerned you may not have enough experience, applying to a local level board can help you gain further experience. Additionally, you'll get a deeper understanding of the issues, make new contacts, and get a feel for how the board functions. This can serve as a stepping stone, whether your next goal is to run for office, apply for a statewide board, or even make a change professionally. Serving at the local level takes advantage of contacts you may already have. You may not know anyone in the legislature or the governor's office, but what about local government? Are you neighbors with a council member, go to church with a local clerk, or carpool with an existing board member? At the local level, you likely know people who can help you in the process of applying. So now let's take a look at statewide boards. Why apply to serve on a statewide board as opposed to a local board? To begin, there's a broader focus for statewide boards, because while county and municipal boards focus on the nuts and bolts of local issues, statewide boards have a broader focus. They focus on issues that affect the whole state, such as health planning, education, parole, and professional licensing, just to name a few. Local boards are a great way to gain experience. Statewide boards allow you to tap into the expertise you already have to help the whole state. As we touched upon earlier, they can often require that members have a certain degree, occupation, or professional membership for that very reason. Since you'd be serving the whole state, the potential for networking and making new contacts is greater, whether it be those you meet through the confirmation process, those you serve with, or individuals and organizations who work with the board directly. There are currently over 1,400 appointed positions on statewide boards and commissions, about 900 of whom are appointed by the governor. This includes holdover status members. Those are members whose terms have technically expired, but they remain in the position until they are replaced, vacant positions, and positions that'll term in the next 6 months. We continuously update our database to keep you apprised of all new opportunities. Because there are so many positions, there are often multiple boards in the same area, such as conservation and education. There are also boards available in areas that you won't likely find at a local level. For example, there are boards on cosmetology, diabetes, and Holocaust at the statewide level, but not at the local level. It has been a pleasure speaking with you this afternoon. If you have any questions further down the road as you begin your boards and commissions process, please feel free to reach out to me at gap@scwomenlead.net or emily@scwomenlead.net. However, does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask now?
Emily, we do have a couple of questions, and I just want to reiterate that we will be sharing all of the slide presentations in an email next week. So you'll get all of this information, links, all of those things. So one of the questions is, who is a good person to ask for a letter of recommendation?
So it really depends on you. I would recommend, if you have a mentor, go to the mentor. If you're focusing on a certain board, say if you're an attorney, maybe focus on one of the major organizations, professional organizations, and you can ask maybe the chairperson of that organization to write a letter of recommendation. Or if you happen to know someone who serves on the council or formerly served on the council, that would also be beneficial. You can never have too many letters of recommendation. There's no such thing as too much praise. So ask anyone you think might be beneficial. The worst they can do is say no.
Sure. Another question was, how do we find out if there are committee members who review applicants? So probably not only if there are committee members, but like specifically who are they?
Yes, so that's most common for Richland County, actually. And for almost every county and city I can think of, actually, they have a listing of the appointments that the board, the council members are appointed to. So if they're on a subcommittee, it's usually noted. But Richland County is the main one that does that.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to make another final call for questions. Emily, that presentation was so informative. Thank you so much. And I know that it wasn't much time. You did a great job of covering a lot of ground in a short amount of time.